A very good afternoon to Vice Principal Administration Dr. Anupam Vidyarthi, Shivda, and all the teachers present here. Seth Amar Japuria School welcomes Mr. Shiv Kumar to the school to enlighten us with the thoughts and wisdom. Mr. Shiv Kumar has been the Director, Indian Council for Integral Education at Sri Aurobindo Society and National Director of Euro Youth Wings of Sri Aurobindo Society, Pondicherry. After completing his graduation in Mechanical Engineering, a diploma in computer-aided design, and 5 years stint in the corporate world, Mr. Shiv Kumar decided to turn his attention exclusively to an experimental understanding and practice of Indian philosophy and spirituality. In the year 2001, he joined the Sri Aurobindo Society, Puducherry, and has since then been engaged in bringing about a deeper change in the field of education. He conducts workshops and camps on integral education for principal, educationists, teachers, parents, and students. Besides organizing camps and workshops, he has undertaken several projects in the field of education at Sri Aurobindo Society, Pondicherry. I take this opportunity to invite Mr. Shiv Kumar on the stage to spread true education which facilitates true soul-directed growth. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste. So now I have to welcome you into my session. So I will welcome you with a very beautiful slide. We'll start from there and then we will see where it proceeds. Do you feel welcome? Now this is something which our Supreme Court has categorically said as a statement in July 2013. Were you aware of it 5 years back when Supreme Court has announced this? It says simple message and it says education system has failed, says the Supreme Court, and they are giving a reason also, and it's very interesting to note the reason. And the portion that I have highlighted, that is what they say. Do you agree that education system has failed? Maybe they are a little bit on the extreme, no? I think in this school, education is much better, that I can say. Already I've been spending 2 days here. And it has been a lovely experience so far because I got a chance to interact with the students on the first day. You know, sometimes I say something and I suffer because of what I say. And then afterwards I think, oh, I have to be careful in saying. So yesterday when I was interacting with the children, so I told them, school, why do we come to the school? We come to the school because we can do what we know to be the happiest thing for us. So if there is something that we want to do really, really nicely and then something that is going to make us happy, that is what the school should be. So I was asking the children questions. So what would you like to do in your school? Anything specific, anything special? So somebody said dance, music, drama. And then one girl said, I want more sleep. See, such an innocence. And I have already said this is what. But I have to tell her that in my school, if I have a school, and when you come and then you say that you need sleep and then you want to sleep, then you will be given first period as a sleep, because once she gets that sleep and when she gets out of that sleep, and she'll be a different person. She'll be ready to receive what we have to share with her. But in this context, interestingly, the Supreme Court has said that it is unfortunate that today education, instead of reforming human behavior. Education is supposed to reform human behavior? Are we doing it? Does mathematics reform human behavior? I know if I ask some people, they say, Pagal Manata. It's a little tough subject. There are tough subjects, but if you go a little deeper into it, the way education is designed, how much of reforming human behavior is there? As a percentage, if you have to say. Mathematics, physics, all the laws and theorems that you have learned, has it reformed your human behavior? Marginally. Not that we can't say that no, everything is useless. There are some, but if you look at it, it has given us a little more strain because we have to prepare for the exam as students' points of view. And it's not exactly been helping us to reform the human behavior. Most of the subjects, I wouldn't say all subjects, because you take sports, extracurricular subjects, especially when you go through a course of music. Music touches you and transforms you. Yes? You get touched very easily, and what you get touched, you have a tendency to analyze it and then get transformed. Somewhere mathematics, physics, chemistry doesn't seem to be doing that, but they have something else. We will come to that later. But it says, instead of reforming human behavior, in our humble opinion, appears to have failed to achieve its objective. Interesting, Supreme Court is clear about its objective. And what do you think is the objective of the people who made the syllabus? And what do you think is the objective of the people who are implementing that syllabus, which is you and I? Are we clear about it? Do you agree with it? It has to reform the human behavior? Yes or no? Some objective that we can agree on. And then it says, instead, we find troubled atmosphere in society at large, which calls for not a long-term reformation. Is the word the Supreme Court uses? Immediate reformation. Like, we should have solved it yesterday. We should have started attempting it day before yesterday itself, but we are even, and it has to be immediate, this reformation. And once you look into a little deeper, we want to have is very, very different. If we want to focus on human reformation, and if we actually implement it, it will be something revolutionary. I'm making it very, very clear to you. But here is the most beautiful thing. All the revolutions in the world, whatever you may take it, if you can track it, French Revolution or the other ones, it usually starts with one person. We don't know where the person is. It is not society as a whole or teaching community as a whole is awakened and then it wants human reformation, not yet there. But there are individuals, and that is how biggest changes begin with individuals. And these individuals, for these individuals, how does the revolution begin? The revolutions of the world starts with one individual, but the revolution for that individual, where does it start from? From experience? Something touched them? Have you heard of this speech, in America in the 60s when the black Americans were oppressed? There was one person who stood up and then he delivered a speech which is to this day one of the most beautiful speeches ever. It starts with the word, I have a dream. Who is it? Nelson Mandela? In America? Come. If you have not, this is the opportunity. Go Google it and then look up Martin Luther. You have read it. I know you will picture him. Of course, Nelson Mandela also has said something equally beautiful and thing. I have a dream. How did it start? It started as a dream. And that is how important. If we as teachers don't have the dream of human reformation as our goal, we are not going to wake up from the dream and start working out the steps. But having a dream is only the first step, because by dream alone we can't make things happen on the outside. What we have to do is we have to hold the dream it perhaps every day for several days or several years, and until it slowly gets into, as she said, into our thought process. And it gets into our emotional part also, so that we feel the dream, and the dream has already touched our minds, and very soon, if it has touched our mind, it's going to touch our speech too. And if it has touched our, it is going to express itself through whatever we do, and then we know that the revolution is born outwardly. But where was it born first? In a dream. And that is how important to acquire the right dream. Hold it, incubate it until the dream becomes something that defines us, and then it becomes a revolution. When we talk about education, that is Martin Luther King, there's an interesting thing which happened in one of our educational institutes. It's there somewhere close to Delhi. It's called Gnostic Center. So an interesting thing happened there, and I will tell you, and then before you can look there, some of you started reading it. So one day suddenly, child approached a teacher. He's 12 years of age, between 12 to 14 years of age, right? And he had a frank conversation with the teacher. He said, "Teacher, you are so worried whether I study well, whether I score well in my exams. But have you ever worried, did I sleep well the previous day? See, for the first time, I'm coming to your class for the first thing in the morning. And then when I sit there, you ask me questions. Did I do my homework? Because I will not be able to perform in the exam. But why don't you ask me, how did I sleep? Is it important for us to know how the child slept the previous day when he comes for the first time in the morning? Yes or no?" And then he says, "Didi, why don't you ask that whether I dreamt of something?" I tell you the importance of dream. Some of the dreams that I had when I was a child, when I look back, and some of you when you look back, there were one particular type of dream which kept recurring. And when I look back now, I can immediately tell you that this was the dream which I am in the process of realizing. The dream has caught hold of me and it will not leave me, and therefore gradually I started thinking, what can I do in order to realize, give expression to this dream, and the dream has caught hold of me, and that is how important the dream is for a child. And then he asked something beautifully, "Why didn't you ask me whether I am breathing properly?" How does it matter how we breathe? Is it important how we breathe? Yes. How? It's an indication of what we are, what state we are. If I am breathing very fast, what does it mean? Agitated, stressed out. This, as simple as that. Anxiety. And if I am calmly and quietly taking a long, relaxed breath, what is an indication? Things are all right. Such an indication. When the child sits, the way he breathes is an indication of how he has been. And if we can detect that and help him to regain his breath, he would have regained his composure on the inside. Simple as that. And I don't even know how I am growing. Or see, for the first time when you meet children in the morning, how many of you actually think of even asking? First of all, it's impractical. How many children are there in your class? 45? And you start asking about, did they sleep properly, and did they dream properly, and if they start off, and how long is your periods? 35 minutes. You're going to fall short of time even just to complete this one round before you can start anything. But for that child, see, there is an adult way of looking at education, and that is how things have been happening. So the syllabus is prepared by who? Some adult sitting somewhere, and the syllabus is executed by who? Some adult sitting here. And how is the environment in which education happens built? By who? By some adults. So an adult's way of looking at how education should happen. How does a child look at education? So when a child comes in the morning, 12, 14-year-old child, and when he comes into the classroom and sits, probably the previous day he has watched the World Cup football. Have anybody here watched World Cup football? If you have children at your home, you would have seen. And it so happens that it happens in Russia, and for us it is midnight. And so many children, they watch the football and they go through that exhilarating experience. It's World Cup football. The quality, and especially this time the quality was very good. And they went through it and they are full of football. They are walking as if a football would walk, and they are ready to share something about the football, because without expressing, their experience doesn't get complete. And then, the moment they enter into the classroom, what does the mathematics teacher ask? Did you do your homework? And why didn't you do it? And this. And his football experience remains incomplete. Or probably, he has seen a rainbow. He is still thrilled by that experience. 12 years, he has never seen a rainbow. Mokamila. And then it is something out of the for him. And then in that mood, he comes inside. And do we give him the occasion to express so that his experience become complete? Or maybe he read a poetry the previous day, or during the earlier weekend he had an adventure trip and is full of bubbling with that excitement, that thrill, and then when he comes, we don't usually give that opportunity for the experience to get completed. Why? Simple. Why are we not able to do? lack of time. But is it important that all the things that we have seen, do you think it is important for the child? And yet, why don't we do it? Is it important for us? You notice there is already a gap. Well, it is important for me, but for me more important is what the principal madam is going to tell me. Because why? You have to complete syllabus. And for the principal, she is also not at liberty. By the way, there are people, there is always a big boss to the boss. And that person is sitting there, he says, this is a syllabus. If you don't execute it, then your school loses a chance to be affiliated. She is also under compulsion. What we want to do, in spite of knowing that it is something which we need it, the children need it, we are not able to do it. And why? One simple question, syllabus. So why do we need a syllabus which doesn't help us to do the important things? Because why are we under compulsion to execute the syllabus? I'm sure the people who prepare the syllabus know about this. They are not normal people, no, they are experts with double and triple PhDs, the people who made the syllabus. Yes or no? Not only that, they've had years of teaching experience, spending time with children. Do you think they will come with, just like that, with things that are not so important for children? No. But yet they have come up with why? To make them competent enough to do what?
What everybody else is doing around the world.
So who decides what everybody else is the way it is? And who decides, why do they decide that we have to be like everybody else? Don't they know the simple fact that every child is unique? The answer is yes. Don't underestimate them. The people who are there, they are sitting with years of experience. And not only academically, but you go and tell them that, so you are making a syllabus so that they can be like everybody, they will give you 100. I want you to answer, why do you think that the syllabus is the way it is? Doesn't seem to make sense somewhere. And it appears as if somebody has brainwashed a few people at the top. And when you get brainwashed, things that are evident get missed out. When you want to do something, somewhere it gets missed out. Now, we have so many subjects, physics, chemistry. We know so many other things need to be done here. And you look at it and then see who decided that these are the subjects through which education has to happen. Who decide? हाँ, वो तो क्या होना चाहिए, लेकिन मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, why we do what we are doing? I'm not asking what should be done, because I'm sure every one of you can give answers, including those people who prepare the syllabus. You ask them, they will also come with some fantastic philosophy. Oh, ऐसा होना चाहिए बच्चों का, so they will have to bloom and then this and that. And in spite of knowing it, they are not doing.
Actually, it is to be given action. Then the reaction will come. As you say, the physics, chemistry, Newton's third law says, action has equal and opposite reactions.
Okay.
Until unless you will give them a job, so you will not get the result from them. And if you keep on saying them this do and no time related thing will be given.
Yes.
Periods are first, second, third, fourth periods are given.
Yes.
Then they will say, I will not study this, I will not study this, I will do this. Sometimes after the parents will come, hey, what are you doing?
Absolutely. We will come to the parents later. Right now, we are at the syllabus makers and also the people who implement. What you are saying is very simple. So, unless and until we discipline them, they are not going to listen to us. And 15 years, let us discipline them. And in that process, we have to ask ourselves, what do we gain? And do we lose something? What do we lose?
Until unless there is some strictness.
Listen to me first.
Please.
There is some gain. We have to ask, is there something that we lose by enforcing this discipline? And if so, we have to see what is it that we are losing, how important is it to us? Fine? Yes.
I believe that, each one of us is a part of the system and something which we have not questioned over the years. It has been happening. We have been in our comfort zone. There were no questions asked. We are not focusing on innovations and the positive impact thereof.
Absolutely.
So tried and tested, we want to play safe. So we are adhering to the same old policies. We don't want to break away from the tradition.
Yes.
So something is amiss within us. We need to question ourselves.
Now, in order to do that, we double question ourselves. that why do I do what I do? One, re-look at it, and then I think things will become a little more clearer too. So I'm going to ask you about a few questions about the things that you have been doing. We'll start with the subjects that you have been teaching in the classroom, and then we will say why do we do what we do. This is an exercise that we all of us can do, and you have a notebook and pen. So you have to create a table like this. What are the subjects that you teach? Give me the subject. I will start with mathematics, then physics, chemistry. So physics, chemistry. So English, Hindi, all I will put in languages. Just simplify and reduce the number. And then biology, then social science. Anything else did we leave out? These are the academic main, and the other one, what do you call them, by what name? So the art, music, dance, drama, what do you call them? Humanities, co-curricular, extracurricular, all the things that you have done. And are they given equal preference and equal importance? Art, music, dance, drama, and this and also, they all have same marks? In art, you have some marks, and music, dance, drama, everything has equal. We'll take up mathematics just to understand what we are doing, okay? So you have, let's say we will take a shorter period of education for our analysis, class 1 to class 10. Are there any mathematics teachers here? 1 and 2, and anybody else? 3. We have 3 mathematics teachers? 4. You are a half mathematics teacher? Full mathematics teacher. Fine. So, how much of the mathematics that you have learnt in class 1 to 10 do you remember now, honestly speaking? On a percentage. But before that, we'll do something else. So, how many pages of mathematics did you learn from class 1 to class 10? How big is your mathematics book? How many pages will it have? 200 plus? Okay, on an average, because in higher classes it is more, lower classes it is less. On an average, you will have 200 pages per year. So you have 200 pages of mathematics per year. So for 10 years, you have 2000 pages. 2000 pages. Approximately how many hours would you have, somebody made you go through this mathematics classes? So in a week, how many classes do you have? 9. So in the higher classes, 9. In the lower classes, at least 6 to 7. So each period is how many minutes? 35 minutes. So on a week, how many hours would you have spent for mathematics? If it is 9, about 6 hours, 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours. Okay. So if that is so, and how many weeks in a year do you have academics, the school?
180 days.
180 days. And therefore you translate it into number of hours per year for mathematics alone will be, if there are 9 periods, 6, 180, 190, 200, around 200 hours, mota. 200 hours, okay, just approximately. So we have for 10 years, average, it will be more, but on an average. So we have 200 pages of mathematics, which we usually cover in around 2000 hours. Yes or no? In our childhood, between up to 10th standard. Now comes a test of truth. I'm going to ask you a question. You take your time and be truthful to yourself. The results will vary. So I'm not asking the mathematics teachers right now. The non-mathematics teachers, you are the question. So you are going to come up with an approximate calculation of how much of the mathematics that you have been taught have you actually used in your life. Have you, I'm just asking a question, you remember what is a second degree equation? Mathematics teachers don't tell. You remember a second degree equation, in 7th standard, that wonderful formula which all of us went through, you remember or not? What is it? Mathematics teachers, please. They say A plus B is, they saying A plus B is equal to something. What is it? What is this A plus B? That was not second degree equation. Second degree equation. How many theorems would we have gone through? And here is a simple question. No, I don't know this second degree equation. When you go to a mall for purchasing, and then do you think about, oh, today I'm going to apply this second degree equation when I'm purchasing my sari or anything? How many instances have you applied? I know you must surely have used addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and a little bit of percentage, a little bit. But if you have to say that on a percentage, how much would you have used in your life? Think about it and then write it against mathematics. And for the mathematics teachers, you have to use more because you have to come and teach it in the class, so the number of hours. So I'm going to divide your life into two. One is your professional life, the other one is your non-professional life. In your non-professional life, because you will have because you know mathematics, you will have a tendency to use it for a little more. I'm assuming it could be right or wrong. So for you in your non-professional life, on a percentage, how much of what you have been taught would you have used? Please write it down.
If they don't use it, we have to use it for them as well.
Exactly. So if they are not using it, why should we teach them? We'll come to that later. So if one person is all that is needed, in this, if only 4 people need it, that too only for professional life, why do we teach others? Which is, how many people are there here? 35? In a class, these are the things that we have to ask ourselves, and here you can freely ask, okay? No examination, no marks, and then you will not be given any marks for the right answer because there is no one right answer. We are just asking ourselves with this aspiration that we want things. And we are not asking questions to put down something, nor push up something beyond what it deserves. And that is our idea. And let us not pull down anything, but each one should be given its place. This is okay here, this is okay, but don't put that here. That's all we are arriving at. Yes? So please write down. Percentage would you have used in your non-professional life, in your life on a whole? And actually, if I get the mathematics book, I can actually go page by page with you and then note down which ones you would have used, and you are being generous with yourself. 5% is generous. And actually, we did this exercise with one school, with a CBSE school. So for them, 1,994 pages and then 1,500 pages. And this is how much they have spent, this many hours. And from class 1 to 10, if we include class 11 and 12, it's beyond 3,300 pages of mathematics in CBSE. 2,140 hours. And then we come back to the percentage. If you are saying out of this, how much mathematics do we use in our life? In terms of number of pages, usually the basic operation, no? The 4 basic operation, percentage and profit loss. Especially if Jio says unlimited talk time and Airtel comes that, no, it comes with the clever scheme, you need to figure out which one is better. And for that, how many pages of mathematics do you think you actually need to cover these basics? Mota mota, I would say if you have 50 pages, it's more than 30, 40. I'm being generous. Today I'm very generous, so let's flow with the flow. And 50 out of 2,000. For 50, if you want to teach, how many hours do you need? 50 hours. 2,000 pages, 2,000 hours, 50 pages, 50 hours. So on an average, 50 out of 2,000, what is the percentage? This everybody should be able to tell me. You tell me what is the percentage. Come on, simple mathematics, mental mathematics. Percentage. 100%? Ayyo. What mathematics we learned? You have to take them classes first, not children. 200 for 2,000 is 10%. 100 is 5%. Half of it is. So what you are telling me is that you are teaching children something out of which 97.5% is not going to be used in their life at all. Now we are giving definite form and shape to it. Somewhere we know, but when you put the figures, and then you understand the magnitude of, and actually if I can add physics and chemistry, sitting on the chair, are you sitting because the chemical formula of the chair is too good? That is for the scientists, 1 in a million, 1 in 1,000, for which we have made everybody to go through all the chemistry, irrespective of, everybody should go through the physics and chemistry and biology, but I will make one distinction for this. That is useful for everybody. There are, and the so-called co-curricular subjects, they have all directly something to play. How much music do you listen? Only 50 hours in a year? I'm sure must be more than that. And what is its effect on you? I know now what has been the effect of mathematics on you, because you have quite forgotten about it, most of it at least. Music, art, come across. We see it everywhere. Somewhere this is not visible, only to a select few for whom it would have made sense. The scientists, the mathematicians, they are this one. And on an average, when we look at what we are teaching our children, the reality strikes us that somebody has made us do something with children, of which, I'm being generous again, 95% or even say 90% is not relevant at all to them, except for certain things. What is that certain things? They get a degree, they get a job into the corporate, they earn money. Because now, you might say they are earning money, but what I will say is, I have my own way of seeing it. What we are doing with our children is, we are training them for at least 15 to 20 years so that they can go and then earn profit for somebody else, a corporate. In the process, you will be given a few tidbits. So they will be earning in crores, you will be getting in 10,000, 5,000, 20,000, 50,000. What about your dreams? Has the education helped you to become aware of your dream? Has the education helped you to become happy? Or does it say that you get the money, then only, is money the only way we can be happy? Or does money actually give you happiness? It's not even giving secondary, tertiary thing. And then how did that brainwashing come? So who decided these are the subject that has to be there in the education, and not those things we will see which are very, very relevant? For example, how many of you get here who do not get angry at all? If there is anybody, I'm sorry, did I ask the wrong question? All of us get angry, and we need something. We should be able to control our anger, no? Does it happen all the time? Is it easy to do? If somebody taught us as part of the education how to control my anger, how to control my irritation, how to put up things which I don't dislike, how lovely place this world will be, yes or no? So if we have a topic, something like that, how to find harmony with everything around us, that will be a topic. Yes or no? Do we need to be courageous in life? Is it important? How important is it? If you are not courageous, you get bulldozed by everything, as simple as that. Why don't we have a topic called courage? We have so many fears, phobias. There's a fear of darkness, there's a fear about this anxiety, that. Why don't we have something called conquering fear? Developing courage, conquering fear. Is it important? Do you have fears? So many times, so many things we don't have. Is it important for everybody to be honest and truthful? Look at the marketing that happens. They can show black and then convince you that this is white, and then they will also convince you that the white is the only thing you want. Why? Because Shah Rukh Khan or somebody, I don't know who are the latest people, because they use it. Shouldn't you learn how to be truthful, honest? And if everybody learns it, so how important is it for us to become truthful, honest, courageous? Second one, we are all love somebody, people, no? We enter into relationships, we maintain, it becomes formalized, no? Vagera, vagera. Is it important to know how to maintain this relationship? To put it simply, is it important to know how to love somebody? All of us know how to love, no? Because we have no problem while loving anybody else. Yes? Do we have some problem? Issues? No issues? Yes or no? I just remember some of the situations, in the 90s TV when they showed drama of Saas Bahu and other thing. So the new lady gets married and goes into the house. And in those days they were Bechara Pala husbands. I don't know whether they still exist, but 90s there were a few. So 1 week passes by and the lady is taking care of the house and she is into everything, helping her Saas, and then that is it going on. After 1 week she tells the husband, so it's already 1 week, so why don't you take me outside? And why don't we go to a movie? So husband says that, come on, let's go to a movie next day and we'll have dinner also outside. So the next day they go to dinner, and then before that they watch a movie and then they come back. It's already 10 o'clock. But it so happened that the boy has always taken food at home with the mother, because before he got married, of course. So when he enters, who is the person who is waiting with the nicely cooked food that, oh, these two have gone out and my son has never eaten outside and he's going to come back and nice dishes ready. And then they walk in and they said, oh, mama, I have had nice dinner outside, movie. The mother doesn't say anything. But over the next 2-3 days, through each small gesture, she has started communicating, oh, a new person has come. Now you don't need me anymore. You take her out. You have a nice dinner. After 2-3 days, this imaginary husband, Bechara one, he can immediately get it. So on the 4th day, he couldn't hold it. So he goes to his mama and said, Mommy, I feel that you are sad. I think I will have to take you for an outing because you have to be happy, because he knows he has taken his wife out and that's why this is. So he says, Mama, you have lots of shopping to do. So I'm taking you for shopping outside. We'll also have dinner outside and then come back. So he takes his mommy outside for shopping, dinner outside, and then he comes back. Now who is the person who is standing? Who? The wife. And she doesn't say anything. But what does she want to say? Arey, if you want to take your mummy for shopping, why did you marry me? As simple as little things. Not only that, even among friends, if you have some concept called best friend, and best friend is supposed to be one, or you can have 5-10 best friends. Best, you can't have several best. You can have only one best friend. Why you call him best friend? So that you have almost unconditional love. There is nothing is holding you back, and that's why you call that person a best friend. Have you ever tried having 2 or 3 best friends? If so, you take one person, you spend a day, have nice dinner, and the next day you are going to get from the other best friend, oh, you took him to that joint, fantastic dinner. You should have thought me the first. The moment you wanted to go out and have dinner, I should have come into your mind. So you took him. So this poor fellow says, come on, the weekend, let's go for an outing. So they go for an outing and come back, and the other friend, what does he say? Oh, 2 days, full weekend. Am I even your friend? I'm just dramatizing it, because the crux is, it's extremely difficult to, even when I say love, not sada love, let's say unconditional love. Something that gives us a tremendous amount of fulfillment. It's difficult, not easy. And we have to learn how to love more than 1, 2, 3 people in an unconditional way. How do you make it happen?
May I say something, sir?
Yes, please.
Now, sir, what I feel,
Yeah.
that remaining family and running a family, and that is the great tapasya, that is tapasya of God.
I 100% agree with you.
Because in tapasya we just love for one God Almighty. But here we are loving and caring. So it is more greatest tapasya being a family person than
100%.
one person.
Somebody has cleverly thought that they found a shortcut actually. So they have avoided, and those called sannyasis is what he is hinting at, and they have avoided perhaps the family. That is why they are able to be happy. They get into bliss. They go isolated meditation and then they get blissed out. They say family or no family, society or no society, I'm in total bliss. That's their goal. But we'll come back to it.
I mean to say, loving family, loving so many, caring and satisfying everyone, that will get a stomach.
Absolutely. Agree with you. Totally there.
Their happiness and happiness will both.
Yes.
But when you are doing tapasya and being sannyasi and this, then there is what anger, what happiness. You are loving only one person, Almighty. But that is also tapasya.
Yes.
They are also serving country and serving us.
So we will.
He's talking about the challenges of grihasthashram, and that plays a very vital role, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's all embracing
In order
love.
to get out of the world, you don't need any training in this world. You can be outside the society and do what you want. We are talking about ourselves, and we are talking the things that are most important to us, like courage, like love, like honesty, like truthfulness. If they are all important things, then why don't we find them in the curriculum is the question which I am arriving at. The way I see, if somebody has these, then probably he doesn't need a degree to get him into the good corporates, because now some of the best corporates interview and they are looking for these specific qualities, not actually how much mark you got. Some of the best are looking, can you speak and express yourself? Do you have that inclusiveness, the capacity to embrace everybody? Can you understand the people who are working under you? Can you come up with an excellent way of working, meaning highly efficient way of working? And then, can you be happy with your work? These are the things that they are looking for. They have started digressing. Somewhere, the brainwashed people here want to stick onto it, and I want to get into that. That is where I am arriving at. Now, if these are the things which are very, very dear to us, the things that are closer to us, how do we bring it in is the question that we are going to ask ourselves. Now, first thing, as I said, we have to catch a dream. In that dream, we don't know what are the beautiful things, because in the name of physics, chemistry and biology, we have stopped considering them. We have stopped them from entering into the school. And because we have stopped them from entering into the school, when the children, whatever they get, when they go outside, they don't have it. You see how the ripple effect happens? And if we have to bring it back, see, if I tell you that why don't we change everything by tomorrow itself, what are you going to say? It's not our work. Changing the syllabus is not our work. Yes or no? Is it your work? Somebody else will have to. But this is what I'm going to tell you, and we are going to do as an activity. Suppose I'm giving you an imaginary situation. It's easy to put the blame on somebody, because the people who made the syllabus, the board, they are the people who have to change, not us. So I'm bringing that question directly into focus. Suppose tomorrow the ICSE board comes up with an announcement that all the ICSE schools need not follow the syllabus, and what you think is important for children, please go ahead with it. Do we know how to teach things other than maths, physics, chemistry? Do we know how to teach love, honesty, courage, sincerity, truthfulness? Do we know how to teach some beautiful qualities in the body? For example, the strength, the stamina, the suppleness. Do we know how to teach creativity of the mind? How to think originally for oneself, not to carbon copy thoughts from somewhere else? Do we know how to be imaginative? No. And therefore, we can't put the blame, but we are going to make an attempt here and now, because it is still, I know some of you have a sense of it, it has not come to the front. So in this activity, I'm going to divide you into groups, and you are going to come up with a list of 10 topics which you think should become part of your school syllabus, keeping it in mind that there is no constriction. ICSE has given you the full freedom. Like how we have arrived at 10 subjects, can we all make an attempt? Because I told you, we have to get the right type of dream. And if we don't know what is it that we want for our children, then we will not be able to bring it, even if we are given the chance. मौका मिलने पर भी ये नहीं होगा. Why? We are not prepared. And if we prepare ourselves, then probably we can make it happen sooner than we imagine. So I would say that 2 rows get together, discuss among yourself that what are the 10 subjects, 10 topics that we would like to introduce, the top 10, because there are 100 things. If you're talking about life as a whole, here your agenda is to make the child as complete a being, a person as possible. Who has realized all his inward potential, as complete a personality as possible. If that is the goal, what 10 topics would you have? So, you are a group. You are a group. And you are a group. So even if one or two of you has pencil and paper, you can start noting down. You will end up with more than 10, which is fine, and then discuss. This one is okay, secondary, and then come up with. So who would like to share the list of 10?
So we start with happiness. That we want to develop happiness, and the maximum happiness when I see the children around is when they are having art, music, dramatics. So these are the cultural aspects of education that we need to pay more emphasis on.
So the topic is how to be happy?
Yeah. Expression will be free, freedom of expression.
If we can make this as one thing for children, that if you ask them, why do you have to come to school? If they say, to be happy, I think you have solved the equation to a great extent. Excellent topic.
Okay. Then we have respect for everything in life and to develop.
Do you agree with that? Respect for everything? Because there are lots of things, good, bad, ugly, and most ugly, and most ugly is also there.
So I haven't completed actually.
Yes.
So my concept here is humanity and respect, where history plays a very important role because they learn the good and the bad.
They love?
They learn the good and the bad.
Okay.
History teaches them what was good in the past, what was bad in the past,
Okay.
to learn from that and to respect what is good and imbibe it.
So respect is only for what is good.
I mean, yeah, naturally.
Because why would you respect something which is not
Yeah.
good? Okay, now it's okay.
Yeah. Then we have appreciation of nature. And in that again, art, geography, biology, all of these subjects play a great role in appreciation of nature.
Okay.
Bringing them to the earth and what is around them, all around them.
Nature is an excellent topic. There's so much to learn from nature. One thing immediately that strikes you is the generosity of nature. It doesn't keep anything to itself. You take a mango tree and then it will do all the hard work of producing mango, make it ripe. Once it is ripe, does any mango tree say that I want to keep this ripe mango to myself? No.
It will fall.
It has to give away.
Yeah.
Once it is ripe, it has to give away. How beautiful if we pick up that whatever we develop as best thing in us, then we start giving it to people, share it with people. It's an excellent
Yeah,
one.
so related to it,
In such a beautiful way. Yes, next one.
and quite close to it is resource appreciation and conservation. Because wastefulness has become a important concern for everyone. So we need the children to understand that how the resources are precious. And all the subject, all the sciences, I think everything contributes some way or the other to understand this particular aspect.
How many of you practice the safe environment, eco-friendly, green? How many of you are actively campaigning against usage of plastic, one-time usage of plastic?
We are.
You have started already refusing? So when you go for when you go for shopping, still you find it convenient to get a plastic bag and put things inside?
No,
and
we've
go?
learned to carry bags.
Okay. There are so many ways, water, preserve, how to preserve water, and also probably at somewhere down the line, how to preserve this body. We
We'll
need
come
healthy
to
food,
that.
healthy snacks, something like green tea.
Then we have physical fitness, like you just said, and sportsmanship,
Yes.
where games are very important
Yes.
to understand the importance of our body and how it functions.
Yes.
And sportsmanship is very important
Yes.
to move together, the spirit.
Yes.
Creativity, interpersonal relationships, when we are going to develop positive relationships with each other, we are creative, we can express when we are unhappy and what is making us unhappy, then only we can lead to happiness. And in that, languages, dance, music, drama,
All
again,
come in.
all come in over there.
Excellent. The way she has combined things, but the importance is given to that thing, and everything else comes as aids. Very nicely done.
Then we have understanding the phenomena around the earth. To again understand why something is happening, the analysis, the mind works to analyze things.
Okay.
So once again, sciences, geography, observation of all that, that is again something that we need to develop. Transactions in life, maths becomes very crucial over there.
Basic maths.
Yes, basic maths, definitely. And spirituality is something also to, when we are doing dance, music, art, yoga, these are the things which enhance the calmness of our mind and body. So to become calm.
Do we need calmness of all these things? Do we need calmness in life? Why do we need it? Partial calmness, isn't it? We don't want to be all the time calm and then sitting in a place and then we energizing whenever it is required.
When we are agitated, then we need to learn how to calm ourselves.
Okay.
There
Fine.
it is important.
Then it is fine. Then calmness has a place.
yeah.
Our goal itself is not calmness. Okay? Then it is fine.
We've done.
Excellent. Could you pass it on to the next group there? So we will start. Now if you can't beat in sequence, let us beat with content. Chalo.
So we decided upon the following topics. First and foremost, laying emphasis on our oratorial skills of our pupils. You see, we give importance to expression of ideas, communicating effectively.
Okay.
So once we learn these skills are honed, linguistic skills, ability to speak, that eloquent speech.
Okay.
So that is a very important part. Then
This is one of the things emphasized
that boosts our confidence.
Marketing and communication, and if you are able to speak properly or the way you want to, then you can. And somewhere I'm not because there are people who are confidently communicating things which are not okay for us, and they can easily fool us and convince us. The way marketing happens, the way corporate people get into a life. So is it because somewhere I feel that communication has to be there, it doesn't feel to be complete.
no, it is
So
not in
before
itself
we-
complete. It's
before
not
we
complete in itself.
speak, is there something else that we need to focus on? What is that?
Absolutely. That is our integrity. What we say, what we think, and there should be an integrity within us. So it has to be coupled with other values. Otherwise, just merely speech is just the tip of the iceberg. It
Yes.
serves no purpose.
Yes. So we have to have some substance to
Other
communicate.
substance.
Things that are of
So
worth
the
to
basic thing
communicate.
that we need is linguistic skills to express ourselves.
To express
Yeah.
ourselves.
The
That is
child
the-
enters the school, first we need to teach the child how to express. That
So
is
you'll have
why
to
that
put
is
it
our
somewhere
top
not
spot.
as, we are not actually asked for sequence, probably that is why. But even that you can make it as part of something bigger. So we need to acquire something good within us so that speech becomes an aid for expressing that goodness, that beauty, that nobility which is within us.
said so that language is not a barrier.
So that
Because
language is
not a barrier.
Yes. Next one.
And then we lay emphasis on creativity. The
Yes.
creative skills also need to be sharpened,
Yes.
right? And then discipline, the importance of discipline in our life.
When you say discipline, what discipline? Can you tell me one, two or three,
See,
top three disciplines?
The way discipline is, I think it's a very misunderstood term. We associate it more with, if you're not disciplined, then we'll be punished. I would say that is a positive aspect of discipline.
So can
And-
you tell me one, two, three disciplines?
If we motivate our pupils to become self-disciplined,
Because if you are in the habit of lying, you get up, we wake up at the time, and then you end up telling lies. Somewhere, when you say self-discipline, what does it mean? Is it only time, or it is something much more?
needs something much more than time, something much more to it than that.
And what is it?
Discipline of our, basically, if you analyze from within, and most of us will question ourselves how much in control of ourselves we are.
Tell me three disciplines.
Three disciplines is mental discipline, like ma'am was pointing out, disciplining our thoughts. Because somewhere we find that our mind is scattered and we are not able to focus on our goals.
Okay.
That is one
So
discipline.
controlling
That is
the mind,
Controlling
so that
the
the
mind.
mind is under our control. It doesn't speak everything by itself.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Okay.
And then discipline of
Actually-
speech. Discipline of speech.
Actually,
Okay.
discipline
That
means your vastness of mind. Where I am going, what for I am going, up to what time we will be there.
Okay.
If it will be the mind, suppose we have to come here up to this time, then you will speak. Then our whole mind and whole body is in you, and will listen, and
Got
our involvement will be the maximum. If there is no decision, anytime you can go, anytime you decide, then there will be nothing happens, and that involvement will not also take
Fine.
place.
Go ahead.
All right, sir. So disciplining our speech also. Somewhere we speak unnecessary things.
Part of
That waste-
communication,
Part of
actually.
communication, all that. And then honing our mathematical and logical skills. That is very important.
Interesting. The word mathematics is used in the sense of logical, and not necessarily to mug up lots and lots of theorems and other things which are not relevant. Logical capacity. In fact, it's interesting the way mathematics develops something in us. If it doesn't develop anything which is useful, then mathematics as a subject becomes redundant. And the way you have put it is nice.
Thank you, sir.
So what you wanted was logical development. If mathematics helps it, mathematics. Otherwise, I will take any discipline, any of the subjects.
And then the importance of ethics in our life, because things are going haywire in today's world. Value system is falling apart, and that is responsible for, the dire straits today, what we are facing today.
Yes.
Somewhere we feel hollow from within.
Value system.
Value
Good
system.
value system.
We have to restore it.
Yes.
And then the importance of physical education.
Any particular values that you would recommend?
Values in terms of, basically like discipline is also part of value. And I would say spiritual values. Importance of love, importance of compassion, sharing, caring, and honesty, speaking the truth.
Right.
And applicability part of it becomes ethics.
Right.
Morals, when it is limited to theory, is morals.
Okay.
But when you apply it in a day-to-day life, it becomes ethics.
Okay.
By examples.
Yes.
And
Not through textbooks and chalk and board. You can't. Fine. Fine. Yes.
and then the
Is to listen someone.
Fine. Proceed.
patience enough. Patience is very important quality, like sir pointed out.
Increase your knowledge.
Because if we are not good listeners, we are not actually really understanding others' perspective. So we are being rude and disrespectful somewhere. If we are the only one who is speaking, so we should listen also. Be
Yes.
good. Humility.
Yes.
Humility is another very good quality that should be cultivated.
Excellent. Good value system.
And the importance of health and hygiene, promoting that.
Yes.
And here I would say holistic health, physical, mental, spiritual. And yes, ability to appreciate arts and aesthetics, the beauty, the underlying beauty,
Yes.
beauty of life and all those objects of nature. So that also, beautifies our life, I would say.
Yes.
And then, yes, we talked about this very important topic, which is relationship. It's very easy to enter a relationship and to make an exit. But to maintain a relationship and, to enable it to thrive,
Yes.
that is what is challenging. We need to nurture it. We have to teach our pupils the importance of that and the value of relationships, because that is what gives importance to our life. Relationships.
Yes.
And of course, sir, the spirituality. That is the core. Without spirituality, we are nothing.
Okay.
And so to sum it up, why we want to include these things is to promote holistic development of our pupils. All these things will enable our pupils to develop holistically and will address all aspects of human life, human, material and divine.
Excellent. Both the lists in content-wise, excellent. हाँ वो आप बताएंगे, आप ऐड करेंगे है ना? तब तो हम वो सब कुछ इकट्ठा करेंगे तो we will end up with nice set of beautiful topics. हाँ, so when your turn comes, you can leave that out, and then only the new topics you're there. So you can leave out the topics already taken up by them, and then add whatever is not yet been covered by these two.
I think they've covered they've covered everything.
Okay.
But games, I think that we've taken up as a priority because it's a holistic development.
Yes.
It develops the physical, mental ability of a child, emotional teamwork, a lot of peer-to-peer connection happens. So I feel if the body is healthy, it's going to generate a healthy mind as well.
Oh, yes.
So physical activity is very important.
Oh yeah.
They're happy doing it.
Compared to the other academic subjects, this is infinitely engaging and interesting.
Yeah, languages, creativity, courage, all that has been covered. Our
Yes.
next point would be honesty. So it's essential that a child becomes honest because only when they feel the need to speak the truth will they be able to express themselves. We're teaching them language, but language becomes important only when they know that what they are supposed to, the way they are supposed to communicate, the way they are supposed to express themselves is very important. The next would be integrity. So integrity is different from honesty. How and why? Because it's respect for not just human individuals, but for your surroundings. And surroundings include both living and non-living things. So you have to respect where you stay, where you sit, people around you, nature, trees, animals, everything have to be respected.
That is what you were debating, honesty and integrity. Honesty is with oneself, integrity is with everything
else. Yes.
Nicely put.
Thank you. Then wisdom. We have to teach them wisdom. We have to teach them wisdom so that they are able to deal with the outside society intelligently. I would not say smartly, because smartness would also lead to shrewdness. But intelligently, because where they are honest, they have shown integrity. If they have the wisdom to put across what they have to put across, they'll be able to communicate better and achieve greater heights. Concentration, I think that's already been covered, I believe. Concentration, somebody covered that through yoga and other means.
You know about what Swami Vivekananda has said, right? Somebody has asked Swami Vivekananda that if you have to redo your education from the scratch, what is the one thing that you would like to have as a subject, as a topic? And you know what he said? I would master just this one faculty, the faculty of concentration. Once I have mastered anything that I need, I can focus, concentrate on it, and then get it. Something I have to learn, I focus, concentrate, get it. Something that I want to know, through concentration. It's one of the most central faculties and topics, I would say.
Yeah, concentration. The other one is connected, patience. So we're very keen to do a lot of things. Curiosity, keenness often leads to anxiety, anger, haste. Patience is very important. So be patient before you act into something. And yes, for everybody, not just for students. I think it's a skill that as we grow older, we say we become mature, but we need more and more of it. Because as we grow older, we tend to lose our patience very easily. Yes. And we think that because we are old, because we are so mature, it's okay to lose our patience because we know everything that we are doing is right.
We are teachers, come on, how can we not know, right?
Yes. Yes.
Did you hear what she said? जब अहंकार आता है तब patience खत्म हो जाता है.
Anger, yes. A life skill, obviously, so that they can attain a job, survive in this world. Yes, money is not everything, but it is one of the most important factors for survival today. That's the kind of world we are living in. So a life skill is essential to be taught so that they can use that life skill into implementing themselves into doing a job and become ready for the world. Yes. And
well thought out.
Yeah, we've picked up actually 11 subjects instead of 10. There's an additional one, and that's humor, a sense of humor.
I gave it away.
It's essential to stay happy, to maintain, like games are important the same way. It's essential if you have a good sense of humor, you can maintain your poise and balance and stay happy, spreads happiness around yourself.
Like one of the sessions yesterday,
concentration, a part of concentration, leadership quality.
Oh yes.
Right. So it's essential to just build this kind of.
Ma'am wants one more, so we add leadership quality also.
Okay, leadership quality होना ही चाहिए.
Yes, and teamwork.
Should everybody be a leader or only few people?
Games with teamwork.
Everybody should be a leader or only a few people should be selected and given training in leadership?
Everybody should have. Honestly, I feel leadership. Though it's essential, but somewhere it's a necessary evil, because once you possess, if you possess leadership qualities, everybody can't be a leader, and some people who are leaders are also. It's like an superiority thing that develops amid students also if you have one or two selective leaders. So who's going to make that choice of selecting the leaders, whether in students or whether outside in the world, in the professional society also. So it's a
leadership. Very good choice. हाँ
तभी जाकर वो श्वेतों की बुराई दूर हुई, अब्राहम लिंकन ने जो भी काम किया।
हाँ
जैसे श्री अरबिंदो है एजुकेशन के क्षेत्र में उन्होंने काम किया, एक लीडर होता है।
Yes.
जैसे ये सोसाइटी और जो सीबीएसई का कोर्स है,
Yes.
लीडर आज आदर्श विहीन समाज हो गया है। हमारा कोई लीडर नहीं रह गया, तो हमारा आदर्श नहीं रह गया है।
Granted, leadership has convinced me. Leadership is one of the. She has given examples of at least Sri Aurobindo and Abraham Lincoln, and I am convinced.
Utopian world and we cannot have leaders in it. We want to
Well,
have patriotism.
Interesting. Add to it. We will come back to it later. So you can pass it on to.
No, I don't think we should be global.
We should be global and not.
Yes, how can we restrict ourselves to one nation?
If a person is having all such qualities, automatically he will be a best leader.
Well, that is another way of putting it. See, it's bypassing a few techniques.
Leaders are the only best leader than any other leader.
Wow, wow. We will see what they are best at it and where they are capable of leader.
So most of our topics have been covered. There's just one thing.
So only the topics which are not covered, even if it is one.
I think travel is something that we should focus on.
Oh, beautiful.
Real life situations, and when we actually deal with something, face something, then only we learn a lot.
Yes.
We learn through experiences, through observations. So I think travel should be a subject. Moving out of these four-cornered walls, किताबों के बाहर भी दुनिया है.
Yes, yes.
So that concept should be included.
Two things which somewhere I've read it, which are essential. One is travel is part of our wanting to expand ourselves. Not being confined to one place, one set of customs, one type of people, natural movement. But if we constantly keep expanding, we will lose our base. So to supplement it is what is called an hibernation. You know, you come back and then you find your home and then you stay and then you experience it like the calmness that we were talking about. And couple taken together is an excellent combination. Glad you brought out travel.
What you have and you appreciate what others have.
Yes.
Actually can bring it to
That gives us a clue to somebody who said we don't want to be national but international. So if you cannot appreciate your nation, you cannot appreciate the internation. Yes. Apka? Only what is
most of the things are covered over here. I just need to say quality of being satisfied and being thankful to what we have got and what someone is giving to us. That should also be there in a human being.
Okay, it's kind of extension of happiness. Wanting to be happy.
Yeah,
in a
satisfaction
satisfied
and being
way.
thankful to the things what is being there.
Okay, others
Not every time to be more greedy about things. Not every time. We can explore things, but not to be greedy every time. We should be satisfied and we should be thankful to the things.
What we have.
What we
First,
have.
let us be thankful to what we have.
We can explore things. We can explore the opportunities, but we should not be so greedy so that everything else is being suffered, such as relationships.
Got it.
And everything. So that is what my point is.
Yes.
Sir, most of the things are covered, but my basic concept is to make a good human being. Through education, I want to make a good human being, for which all the qualities are discussed.
Yes. So sir will say that if we have all the topics, automatically a man will become a good human being. Yes.
Sir, now this time since you are teaching teachers, so you are the biggest leader.
No, I'm not teaching.
No,
Have you been teaching?
Just showing a path. So the path shower is a big leader.
So teaching is not a word that I respond to. It's in the spirit of done in the spirit of sharing. It's more like bringing things out, and we will come to it later. You see, it's interesting. So many good topics, and we are willing to work on it, provided we are given an opportunity, or should we go and create opportunities? What is the difference? None of these, or at least majority of these, we are not ready to bring it into our syllabus. Yes or no? You have a hour called 0 hour, 0 period, and there, can you bring some of it to, you are already doing it, so there is no question about it. Now, in a wholesale way, in a holistic way to bring about is, how do we go about it? Because once we have such beautiful, first one, these 10 topics are kind of random. There seems to be no pattern there. First, we have to bring a kind of a pattern into it, and then things will become clear. So we want the education to be child-centered, they call it soul-centered or child-centered, and we want the child to be the perfect that he or she can be. It's not the same perfection with everybody. If that is so, we have to know the main 3 types of energies in the child which needs to be perfected. Because the child is already born with it, it doesn't make sense to leave out, because if he has to be complete that he can be, there are 3 types of energies the child will have to master. So the first one are the energies related to the body, the physical energies. Okay, there are a lot of things that you have said, health, hygiene, food, sleep, all that comes into this category of gaining mastery over our physical energies. What does it mean in the body? The things that we need to develop, like all the powers of the body, agility, strength, suppleness, stamina, flexibility, and the capacity to sleep when we are tired, the capacity to select the best food that is going with us, and relaxation, the capacity and the wisdom to know how to breathe. These are all related to the body. Now, the most beautiful thing is we don't have one body. And if a child that doesn't get love, when it grows up, he becomes a beggar of love in the world. He is looking for ways and means in which he could be loved. Whereas somebody who grows emotionally very, very healthy, because he has been surrounded with it, he has been given nice, good, emotional food, his emotional body becomes very, very strong, and he says, I'm ready to love the world. And in the same way, when we talk about the third type of body, what are they made up of? Not yet. We have physical body, we have emotional body, intellectual, mental. So many names are there. Sometimes people say hand, heart, head, physical, vital, mental. Everybody speaks the same, mean the same thing, but the terminology is different. When we talk about thought, there's a body which is made up of thought. What can be food for the thought body? The most beautiful thoughts, the noblest thoughts in the world, the grandest ideas which have revolutionized the world, if we expose the child to it, automatically the mind becomes and grows to be strong. And then in order for the mind to express, communication and speech, language becomes the tool for expressing, and the mind exercises itself and then arrives at. But these are not the 3 bodies that we have. This is something that we relate to, everyday experience for us. Somewhere there is another body which seems to have a knowledge which our mind cannot get. Because our mind, even if you tell it something, after 10 minutes it will begin to doubt. The emotions, even if you are happy today, tomorrow take it for granted that it's going to go down the drain, it's going to feel sad. It's fluctuating all the time. Body, all that is interested in is khana pina mauj mein raho. Am I feeling comfortable? Is the AC functioning properly? Is my seat has sufficient cushion? All that it is interested in, nothing dynamic. It's not the body which goes out, wants to go out and then do things of the world. Now, when we were children, all of us, there was something else which were functional, operational. For example, how many here are actually mothers who have children? And fathers? Both. So for them, they can relate to what I'm going to share with you. As soon as a child is born, do you have to perhaps give a lecture to it as to when it has to open its eyes, when it has to start listening? Arey Baba, after a couple of years you open your eyes, and then after one day you start listening to the sounds? Or do you have to take the child's hand and then put it against mama and say that, feel, this is your mama? Somehow it feels, isn't it? Mummy's touch, mother's touch, anybody else touches, it will open up its siren. That's it, it's gone. Yes? Now how does the child do it? So beautifully. And after that, there is one major event which takes place. I don't know at what time, whether in the 2nd month or until that the child is flashing around hands and legs, just like lying down. At some point, it flips over. It's a mega event in the family. Oh, look, this is what has happened. What has happened? Until that time, the child was building up the muscles, very meticulous way, until it becomes strong to flip over. Because it's an extremely complex task that happens in the body. Something is guiding. When it is flipped over and when it wants to get up and then stand, how many times it tries? 100 times it will try to, and then it will fall down, it will hold on to, fall down. Was it failing 100 times? What was it doing? It was building up exactly the muscles needed for it, so that the moment it is built, you can see the child standing up, and then to walk, and then to climb, and then to run, all the things that are. And how does a child know how to digest? Do you have to give a lecture on how to digest paratha or this or that? The digestive system knows. You put it, it knows how to digest, it knows how to distribute energy also. What a beautiful inbuilt knowledge that the child has. The only thing is, after the 3rd year or so, we think that everything else has to be taught to the child. How do we know what is right and wrong? Do we need it to be a subject in the school? No, the child already knows inside, and just as the inbuilt knowledge is expressing, manifesting itself slowly, after 3rd, we put him into a school system, and then we don't give him a chance of developing this, and therefore it doesn't come out. How to be truthful, how to be honest, these are all part of its emotional body, and it knows when it has to develop. According to its character, it is ready to develop, provided there is somebody on the outside to give it a chance. उसको मौका नहीं मिल रहा है. And if somebody outside facilitates it, it's there, and then it comes out. And even the things of how to be creative, how to be logical, do we need it as subjects? It is there ready as part of the growth of the mind. We just have to facilitate it. Our work is like a gardener. You don't have to give a lecture. When you put a seed into the ground, do you have to give a lecture? Arey Baba, first month you come out. Second month you give a branch. Third month, flower. Fourth month, fruit. And then, do we have to? It is an intrinsic knowledge which is there even in a life form as a plant. In us, it is much more alive. Only after some time, in the name of education, instead of facilitation, suppression happens. What do we do with children? As soon as he comes to the classroom, we make him sit from morning to evening. And there are so many things which a child wants to, it keeps coming, you suppress it, and anything that is suppressed after a time, what happens? A tomato, if you keep it in some place for a long time, it becomes bad. Any energy, when it is ready to come out, if you don't give an opportunity for its outlet, it goes bad. So the physical energy, when the child is growing up, we have to create as many games and activities as possible so that it can develop everything. And after some time, the emotional energy wants to become mature. We give that child as much as opportunity to become robust emotionally by providing him outlet where contents are emotional. Dance, does it need emotion? Music, you have to put emotion. Art, poetry, drama, these are the things which have emotional content. The more you do it, the child feels that yes, and the more the things will come out. And when the child gets a little older, then the things which are of the mind, logical analysis, deducing thing, comparing, analyzing, contrasting, these things come naturally as part of its growth. Now when we bring that as part of the growth, what we need is facilitation. And the real teacher in this integral education process is the teacher on the inside who knows what the mind doesn't know. It can feel what our heart, our emotions cannot feel. And it knows what in the body we don't know. Even the impulses and the most minutest thing it knows, it controls. And how do we have an education where we bring these three parts together is the challenge that we have to, because in integral education there is only one teacher and that teacher is inside. Can we not bring it together, allow and facilitate things to bloom in the child by providing activities appropriate to that age? And once we do it, what we have is a complete human being, the way he is meant to be. And mother says it beautifully because she gives that inner teacher a name. What is the name? Anybody here? Is it there only in children? Is it not in us too? Somewhere we have never given it a chance to come out. And it is usually in the form of very fine inner voice. And whenever we do something wrong, it tells something as a whisper. Hey, what you say is not okay. Be careful. Or you love this person, don't hate. You are trying almost on the verge of hating. Correct yourself. Somewhere we say chup chup, and then it goes completely silent after a time. But if we can make it come out, there is a genius within every one of us. We don't know it. We must find the way to make it come out, but it is there sleeping. It asks for nothing better than to manifest. We must open the door to it. Now, if we have to have a dream of such an education, we will eventually work out the ways and means in which we have to make it happen. One or two things I can straight away tell you is, right now you have a syllabus and you can't go much out of the syllabus except in the zero period. If you can make a little extra effort to introduce one or two things, compromising just one or two things, not more, which will help you to gain a little more time in teaching those subjects. For example, take concentration as a subject. So if you introduce concentration as an extra or special subject in the curriculum itself, then within a few years, if we introduce it, for example, when the child is 9 or 10 years old even, within a few years, the child develops such a capacity for concentration that what you want to teach in 2000 hours, he is so concentrated that he can finish it in 1500 hours. What do you end up with? 500 extra hours, bonus. Mil gaya? And the same 500 you can gain in physics also, because when he sits in the classroom, he is concentrated, focused. And you add that, we end up with lots and lots of hours in our hand, provided just by introducing this one faculty of concentration. And when we gain hours, probably we can introduce one more topic, something like how to be happy. So that they can say very well that why am I going to school? I'm going to school to be happy. I know how to be happy. And when somebody goes out of our school telling the whole world that I know how to be happy, what a wonderful product of the school he will be. And we will figure out ways and means. But the swiftest way of bringing about a change is if we do with ourselves first before introducing with or doing it with children. Whenever, wherever you get a chance, first thing to do in order to be able to educate a child is to educate yourself. If you are focused and concentrated, you can actually finish a syllabus much ahead of its intended time. And when we say to educate oneself, it simply means to become conscious and master of oneself. You know, mathematics needs thoughts, mind. So you focus your mind so that mathematics gets communicated with lot of clarity and quickly. And once you enter into it, it becomes very easy for the child to learn. To become conscious and master of oneself so that one never sets a bad example to one's child. Somebody said that you want to teach anything to a child, present yourself as an example. You want child to pick up how to love? You become love yourself. Begin to love children unconditionally. You don't have to take classes. The children will learn by themselves because you have presented yourself as an example. It is above all through example that education becomes effective. Now we have got the way in which this type of education has to happen. This type of education cannot happen with the textbook and board and chalk. How can it happen? It can happen only by ourselves becoming an example. And then it becomes easy. How? What we want to do with the child, we don't have to do it. We have to do it with ourselves, and then automatically it will reflect in the child. How easy? We don't have to break our head. Why is the child not learning? Why is he not concentrating? You want the child to have calm? You develop calm in yourself. You want the child to develop concentration? Develop the concentration in yourself. Children are very, very absorbing. Whatever you present, they will absorb like blotting paper. And you give the bad example, they will absorb that. Give yourself as the example, good example, and then immediately. To speak good words and give wise advice has very little effect if one does not give him as an example of what one teaches. Simple. But there are times when you will not be able to do it with children unless and until you have a connect with the child. You know what is a connection? You have a deep openness so that the child is ready to receive most of what you have to share. You may be an example, but still there has to be a connectedness. Otherwise, you will be a walking example. If the child is not connected with you, he will lose you. Is there any way where we can develop that connectedness, even if in our class there are 35, 40 people who are there? Whatever subject you are teaching, if you have a connectedness, you can make it happen quickly. So we are going to have a small activity with which there is one way of connecting with anybody, not just children, very, very quickly. It's a form of a meditation, which if we can light 1 week, not all, actually I meant one. What we'll do is, if we can gather around it so that all of you should be able to see one flame, not more than that. And can you please, this is the last event and after that we'll conclude. So even if you just gather around, need not be too far because then the effect becomes very less. So the last row can come. Perhaps every time you have a teachers gathering where you want to discuss about things, when you want to end, one way of ending is, this is called a light meditation. And what we'll do is, you can just, one of the best ways of connecting to children is through our eyes. Eyes are, somebody said, windows to the soul, because you gaze into the eyes, you can connect to the depths very quickly. The other one is closer to the heart. A hug brings us very close with each other. But if you want to go a little deep and make that connection, gazing and through our eyes becomes a very beautiful means. And that is what we will be doing. Sit comfortably with your spine erect, not slouching, or if you can let go of the backrest, the ideal, so that you are not touching the backrest and you are sitting. And just ensure that you are directly gazing into the flame and keep your blinking normal. And whenever you feel like blinking, just go ahead and blinking. Eyes, and just see whether you can locate the brightest part of the flame. And once you have located the brightest part of the flame, remember to blink the eyes because we don't want to get it strained. And stay with that brightest part of the flame for a few seconds and see whether you can reach out to that flame just by gazing at it. Something in you through the eyes, allow it to go all the way up to the flame and touch it until the connection with the flame is established. Keep blinking, and if it goes out of focus, bring it back into focus again and again to that brightest part. Through your eyes into the flame. Through that, imagine that you are taking the flame and then taking the flame into you along that thread, and take it all the way back to your eyes and take it into your eyes and close your eyes so that you can still visualize this flame traveling into the eyes and further down until it reaches the space of the heart. So imagine that you have taken the flame, allowed it to enter into your eyes, close the eyes, and imagine that it is traveling all the way down into where your heart is, and allow the flame to be lighted right in the middle of the chest. And imagine that it's burning steadily, it's burning brightly, and once again locate the brightest part of the flame that is burning inside your heart. And as you observe it, the brightest part is radiating its light all around it, and allow this radiation of light to reach out to all the parts of the body. Allow this light to reach out and fill up the entire body, every nook and corner, so that the body is soaked in this light as if a balloon is filled with water, fill up the body with this light coming from the flame burning inside your heart, and let it reach to all the parts of the body, all the way through the legs to the sole, all the way through the shoulders to the fingertips, all the way through the neck and also further, and fills up the entire head, so that the body, your body, has become a body of light. And as the body gets soaked in that light, you feel in your heart, surrounding the heart, your emotional space. Allow this light to enter into and fill up your emotional body too. So that in and around the heart, whatever feelings happen there, imagine that it is getting filled with this light. And take the light also to the head area, so that whatever mind, body is there, allow it also to get filled with this light, so that not only the physical body, but your emotions and your thoughts are completely filled with this light. And once you have filled all these three bodies with the light, allow the bodies to get soaked in it, and let it seep and enter into every part of these three bodies. And as you are sitting, it's a mass of light in the form of body that is sitting, because it's filled with light. And once again, become conscious of the light which is burning inside the heart, and come back to the brightest part of the flame, which is still burning steadily, brightly in the heart, and ensuring that it continues to burn. Gently, very gently, open your eyes. And as you open your eyes, you feel that everything that you express is an expression of this light. When you speak, because your body is already filled with that light, imagine that it's the light which is expressing itself in the form of speech. When you are expressing an emotion, when you are giving a hug to somebody, you imagine that it is the light which is expressing itself in the form of emotions. And everything that you think or feel or even do with your body to be an expression. But especially when you see something, feel that the light is coming out of your eyes and then touching everything around you. And once you do it regularly, you'll find that whatever you look at it, something from the heart comes out of your eyes, and then it connects with everything. And after that, one word, two word, and a little bit of thing, and you will find that the connection is very, very deep. So when you are standing in front of 40 students, as I said, you may not have time to ask everybody, did they sleep well? But just invoke this light and send the light, and with that light, touch everybody. Without leaving once. And you can already feel some of the children will start reflecting it in their eyes. Something will glitter in their eyes, simply because that has touched them, and then they are beginning to respond. After that, whatever you take it up, it will happen as a result of that connection. So this is a simple meditation for connecting with even a large group, simply because we don't have the time to get connected with everybody individually. With that, we have come to the conclusion. 5 more minutes. If you have anything to ask, we will take a couple of questions before we wind up. Remember, we have started with a dream today, and it's not going to get realized tomorrow itself. You have to practice it, bring it in your personal life. With your family, you can practice it, and we will be gradually bringing about a few more things too, which will facilitate this approach to be part of our education. And integral education cannot happen by itself. It has to be a result of integral life that we lead. If we don't lead that life, if we don't change the lifestyle accordingly, we won't be able to make integral education happen in the classroom. Which means we have to come up with ideas on how do we apply this approach in our body, in our emotional interactions, and in our thought processes. And if we can bring this education to children, See, we look at the overall situation the country or the world is in, we can't go out and change everybody. Politicians and management people, educationists, doctors, so many changes need to be done. But we don't have to go out and change all of them, provided if we create the next generation of children who will go to each of these and then bring about the change. In a certain sense, if you want to change the world, the power of changing the world lies with the children who come to us, and the power of empowering them lies with, if we give them an education which makes them complete human beings, wherever they go, they will change the way things are. And we would have, that's why he said, the teachers are the most empowered people. Even the Prime Minister doesn't have this kind of a power, because he has to rely on GOs, government orders, ministers executing, somebody refusing, somebody accepting, but we have the power to change the world because we can empower children in this education. And once we begin to practice at our personal life, we cannot but practice the same thing here too, because we are not two people. When we enter the school, then we cannot say that, no, Bahar to mai Ram, Andar to Ravan. Doesn't happen. You are the same person who is coming in. What you are outside, you are inside. And what you are inside, you are one person, there is only one life. And that's why even if you start practicing it on the outside, it will come inside and it will change the way education happens for the better. So we'll remain quiet for a minute, express our gratitude to whatever power has brought us in. Probably the aspiration that we want to be better has brought in. And in this school, you already have a very, very supporting environment compared to lots of other schools, from the management to the teachers who understand this process and who really want to change themselves before they begin to bring about change in children. And that is how we should approach. We'll close our eyes and express our gratitude through a minute of silence. Thank you.
It was our pleasure to have amongst us Shivda, who has spent his valuable time with senior school teachers. The session was not only interesting, but also has made us aware of many issues which sometimes one overlooked, but play an important role. We are extremely grateful to Shivda to travel from Pondicherry to enlighten us with his experience. Thank you, sir.